When you're building applications, you want them to deliver a great experience for your users. Maybe you want your application to generate in-app purchase options during a gaming session, rapidly validate street address updates, or make image thumbnails available instantly after a user uploads photos. To make this magic happen, your application needs back-end code that runs in response to events like image uploads, in-app activity, website clicks, or sensor outputs. But managing the infrastructure to host and execute back-end code requires you to size, provision, and scale a bunch of servers, manage operating system updates, apply security patches, and then monitor all this infrastructure for performance and availability. Wouldn't it be nice if you could just focus on building great applications without having to spend lots of time managing servers? Introducing AWS Lambda. AWS Lambda is a compute service that runs your back-end code in response to events such as object uploads to Amazon S3 buckets, updates to Amazon DynamoDB tables, data in Amazon Kinesis streams, or in-app activity. Once you upload your code to Lambda, the service handles all the capacity, scaling, patching, and administration of the infrastructure to run your code and provides visibility into performance by publishing real-time metrics and logs to Amazon CloudWatch. All you need to do is write the code. AWS Lambda is very low cost and does not require any upfront investment. When you use AWS Lambda, you're simply charged a low fee per request and for the time your code runs, measured in increments of 100 milliseconds. Getting started with AWS Lambda is easy. There are no new languages, tools, or frameworks to learn. You can use any third-party library, even native ones. The code you run on AWS Lambda is called a Lambda function. You just upload your code as a zip file, or design it in the integrated development environment in the AWS Management Console. Or you can select from a list of function samples pre-built for common use cases such as image conversion, file compression, and change notifications. And built-in support for the AWS SDK makes it easy to call other AWS services. Once your function is loaded, you select the event source to monitor, such as an Amazon S3 bucket or Amazon DynamoDB table, and within a few seconds, Lambda will be ready to trigger your function automatically when an event occurs. With Lambda, any event can trigger your function, making it easy to build applications that respond quickly to new information. To learn more about AWS Lambda, visit our website and you can get your first Lambda function up and running with a few clicks in the AWS Management Console. And with the
AWS Application Migration Service simplifies and expedites migrations to the AWS cloud. A highly automated lift and shift solution, it allows you to quickly realize the benefits of the AWS cloud with no changes to your applications. Once running on AWS, applications can be modernized quickly and easily. AWS Application Migration Service minimizes time-intensive, error-prone manual processes by automatically converting your servers from physical, virtual, or cloud infrastructure to run natively on AWS. This low-risk migration is further simplified by using the same automated process for a wide range of applications. And you can migrate from virtually any source infrastructure that runs supported operating systems. By continuously replicating your source servers, AWS Application Migration Service keeps your data up to date on AWS. During replication, you can maintain normal business operations as there's no impact on server performance. It's also easy to conduct non-disruptive tests and complete your migration during a short cutover window. Best of all, AWS Application Migration Service is free for 90 days. You only incur charges for any AWS infrastructure used. Take advantage of increased flexibility, security, and reliability by moving your applications to the cloud with AWS Application Migration Service. To start migrating for free, visit our website.
When you're building applications, you want them to deliver.
No matter what your organization, there's a good chance you have data you need to move. Maybe it's just a little, or perhaps a bit more than a little. Maybe you've got data you need to bring in all at once, while other data trickles in over time, and still other data streams in without pause. If you want to optimize or replace the internet, build hybrid clouds, connect applications directly into S3, or capture constant streams from devices, AWS has a portfolio of data transfer services that can work for you. With Direct Connect, a dedicated physical connection accelerates network transfers between your data centers and ours. Additionally, the connection lets you access both public and private IP-based services, like S3 and EC2, and maintain separation between environments. AWS Snowball provides petabyte-level data transport via a secured appliance. With Snowball, you can ship petabytes without high costs, long transfer times, or security concerns. With storage gateways, an on-premises data gateway links your environment to the AWS cloud infrastructure. This lets you build a hybrid cloud very easily, where some storage resides on-prem with a seamless and elastic cloud backend. Amazon has partnered with a wide array of industry vendors to make it simple to bring backups and archives into the cloud. With S3 connectors embedded in the leading software packages, you can back up right into the cloud but maintain your backup catalog and keep visibility and control across jobs. For streaming data, Amazon Kinesis Firehose is the easiest and most reliable option available. Firehose captures device streams and delivers them into S3 for consistent, reliable, and non-stop use with business intelligence analytics software and Internet of Things applications. Firehose provides a fully managed service that scales automatically and requires no ongoing administration. Firehose can also batch, compress, and encrypt data before passing it along. S3 transfer acceleration helps out with long-distance transfers over slow networks. It provides all the benefits of a traditional S3 put, but at an accelerated pace, making for faster transfers without any network configuration or hardware accelerators. And if it isn't faster, it's free. At AWS, our customers have taught us how critical, challenging, and unique large-scale data transfers are, which is why we've created a full suite of options to make importing and exporting data easy, safe, and cost-effective. Visit aws.amazon.com/cloud data migration to find out more and get started today.
Refactoring an application has a lot of benefits. It increases business agility, time to market, and can maximize the business value of AWS. But designing and building the necessary infrastructure for refactoring can be time-consuming, not to mention expensive. That's where AWS Migration Hub Refactor Spaces comes in. It provides an environment that makes refactoring applications in AWS faster and easier. With Refactor Spaces, developers have the infrastructure they need to work, so they can focus on extracting capabilities, which helps realize tangible value quickly with a small blast radius and minimal risk to the existing application. Teams don't need to pour hours into the upfront design and implementation, so getting started is easy. It's ready in minutes instead of months. And it helps teams operate and deploy their services independently, which increases business agility and reduces time to market. Architects and app owners can view their apps, network, and services across accounts at a glance, simplifying the evolution of the app's architecture and encouraging service team independence. Traffic from your existing application can be seamlessly migrated to your new microservices without your users knowing. Plus, routing between multiple AWS accounts is easy and always adjustable. Create your first environment today and realize value from your refactor sooner with AWS Migration Hub Refactor Spaces.
And so today we're announcing the availability of the AWS Application Discovery Service, which allows you to automate the discovery of data center applications and their dependencies. So with the Application Discovery Service, AWS ADS, you can automatically discover your application inventory. You can identify the applications themselves and their infrastructure dependencies on-prem. You can measure a performance baseline of those applications. And you can take that data, encrypt it with the key management service, and store it inside AWS. And then, with the help of key ISV and SI partners, such as those listed here, you can take that information and get help in migrating the physical applications onto AWS. So that is the AWS Application Discovery Service, and it'll be available in preview in the next coming weeks.
Hello everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. Good evening na pala. Welcome to another episode of Community Ignite series. I hope that you have a blessed Holy Week and a wonderful Holy Week spent with your family. Ayan, so I am your host for tonight, Rose of Yanga, Technical Community Manager and Project Manager at Edukasyon.ph. It's been long, no, that since I was not your host. Just something came up lang with Darla, and then she will be back, of course, next week. So ayan. So hopefully everyone are safe at home. Good evening, Carol. So ayan, please let us know naman where are you coming from, and if you're a student, a professional, maybe you can also share about your school, your course. If you're an IT student, yan, we are keen to know you more. Kasi medyo matagal tayong hindi nagsama. Yan, we value your time spending with us in another Thursday. And we have an interesting topic for you tonight. There you go. And how are you feeling today? Excited? Happy? Yeah, I hope everyone are excited. Ayan, civil engineer grad from NEU. Where is NEU, Stein? Greetings from Caloocan, I see. Oh, let's go, Lerbs. So someone know about our speaker tonight. Ayan. We are also live on Facebook. Hello po sa ating mga FB Live viewers. Don't forget to tag your friends and share this live. And let's also help others learn from our very own industry leaders through the AWS Cloud. Thank you so much for taking the time to attend this free 1-hour tech-driven webinar every Thursday. So if you're first time to join the Community Ignite series, or CIS, we bring people here to uplift fellow developers like you and professionals, whether you are students or professionals, with different speakers all over the world to share their experience and technical expertise and share with you topics related to Amazon Web Services. So again, this is AWS Cloud Pilipinas, Community Ignite series co-presented by Amazon Web Services. So there you go. So last episode, we talked about building a serverless data lake in AWS. So in case you missed that previous talks, you can watch the highlights on our social pages, on AWS Cloud Pilipinas on Facebook, on LinkedIn, Instagram, and also on TikTok. And you can also watch the full episode on our Community Ignite series playlist on the EdTV in YouTube. Ayan. So going back to our chat, kaway-kaway sa mga fellow AWS Restart Batch 1. Wow, meron pa tayong AWS Restart learner dito. Hello. So there you go. Sino yung nakapag-enroll sa AWS Restart? And also, to our AWS Educate students and educators, maybe some of you here have enrolled to our Batch 1 of Cloud Practitioner course. So another course is upcoming. We will announce later on about our Solutions Architect Bootcamp. Ayan, I know that you are excited to learn again another topic tonight. So let me introduce to you our speaker. Some of you know him already. Ayan, he is a cloud engineer with 7 years of IT experience, mainly focusing on system administration, managed services, and cloud ops. He is also a multi-AWS certified. Oh, wow. He is an AWS Solutions Architect Associate. He is also an AWS Cloud Practitioner, and he is an AWS Community Builder and co-instructor at Tutorials Dojo. So to give us tonight our topic on, what's our topic tonight? Implementing compliance through AWS Config. Does this sound familiar, or someone just learned this term tonight? AWS Config. Hello, hi, Larry Bert. Yes. So again, everyone, without further ado, let me introduce to you our speaker, Sir Lervin Obando, to speak about AWS Config. Hello. Hi, guys.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Sir Lervin. Welcome. And thank you so much for your time tonight. We are really glad to have you on board as one of our speakers here at
Mhm.
Community Ignite series. We have enthusiastic students and professionals
Right.
here. We actually have, let's see, how many people in the room? We have 118 people in
Wow.
the room.
That's a lot.
Yeah, usually we reach 150 people in our Community Ignite series,
Mhm.
and this is weekly, no? So they're really very enthusiastic to learn new topics about AWS. And yeah, so since they are already keen to learn from you, so I'll give it to you, Sir Lervin. Take it away
Yes.
and see you
Thank you, Miss
later.
Rose. Yeah. Thank you, Miss Rose, for that wonderful introduction. And hi, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. So our topic for tonight is about implementing compliance through AWS Config. So, but first, let me just introduce myself. So I am Lervin Jan M. Obando, a cloud engineer currently working at Amdocs. And I also a co-instructor at Tutorials Dojo and an AWS community builder as well. So if you want to connect with me, I pasted here yung aking LinkedIn profile as well as the author profile of me on Tutorials Dojo and Udemy. Okay. So under Tutorials Dojo, I co-authored the study guide ebook for the AWS SysOps Administrator Associate. So kung meron man sa inyong nagpe-prepare to take this certification exam, yan, baka naman. So you might want to check this out. Okay. So you can also search me on the AWS Community Builders directory. So I'm one of the AWS Community Builder here in the Philippines. So I've been a builder since 2021. So yeah, bagong-bago, last year lang. So enough about me. Let's start. So let's start by defining our objective for tonight. So at the end of this presentation, I'm hoping that you will be able to understand what compliance and AWS config is, identify AWS config key components and features, and as well as to cite common use cases of AWS config, and of course to have a high level understanding of AWS config deployment process. So as we go through the presentation, we will be able to tackle all of these goals. Okay. So right. So let's talk about compliance first, because this is actually the core of our discussion for today. So compliant, as defined, it means conforming to a set of rules such as specification, policy, standard, and law. So we can see this all throughout different kind of businesses, even in schools and hospitals. You know, so there is also a perspective that compliance is just an additional expense, and this is just a nice to have. Kasi nga naman, when we have a compliance and regular audit, medyo matrabaho siya. Lalo na for companies that are more focused on their day-to-day operations and doesn't have the time to do the set of rules or for compliance or for audit. But I'm telling you, this is not an expense. And this is not only a nice to have for any kind of businesses. So according to the study made by GlobalScape and Ponemon Institute on 2017, there is a over 62 million overall maximum cost of non-compliance. So ito yung result of non-compliance based on the study made over the 53 multi-million multinational companies. So this value, it is an overall cost for the business disruption, productivity loss, revenue loss, fines, penalties, as well as reputation damage, which we all know is kind of immeasurable. So with that said, believe it or not, compliance saves money. So with that, we can say it is safe to say that we should do the compliance on the day one, or as much as early as possible for every businesses, because the damage made by non-compliance is cost a lot of fortune, as you can see on the numbers here. Okay, so yes, I know some of you already have an idea what AWS is, because this has already been the 36th episode of the CIS. But for the benefit of everyone, let me just have a quick discussion about what AWS is. So AWS, or the Amazon Web Services, is the world's most comprehensive, broadly adaptive cloud platform, offering 200 fully featured services from data centers globally. So we can use AWS to easily provision different kind of resources like network, virtual machines, storages, databases, to name a few. So with AWS, madali nating mo provision yung mga kailangan natin for our application infrastructure when compared to doing it on an on-premise environment. Okay. So yan, let's jump into AWS Config. Okay. So AWS Config is a service that enables you to assess, audit, and evaluate the configurations of your resources. So as the name suggests, AWS Config works on all the configuration of all our resources. So this is a management service to view all the configuration of your resources all in a single place. So how does it work? So I have here an image from AWS documentation, which shows the process of AWS Config. So AWS Config monitors all the configuration of your AWS resources, and it evaluates the configuration through AWS config rules. Then after that, the result of it is the configuration details are being stored in an Amazon S3. You can also have CloudWatch events integrated on it, and have an SNS notification configured para inform yung key persons for the different configuration that happens. So AWS Config also has a dashboard where you can see all of the configuration of all resources. Okay, so here are the features and also the use cases for AWS Config. We have continuous monitoring. So when we say continuous monitoring, the configuration, once AWS config is set up, all of the configuration on your AWS resources will be monitored 24/7. And not only that, all the configuration are being stored as well. So continuous assessment, this means that that the audit and assessment of your resources are being done continuously. So the resources are being tagged as compliant and non-compliant. So because of this continuous monitoring and continuous assessment, we will also have the change management. So we will be able to track all the configurations all in one place. So not only that, pwede rin tayong benefit dito for the operational troubleshooting. Since we all have the records of all the configuration of our resources, it is easy for us to check if there are an issue with a particular AWS resources like EC2 or RDS, S3, ganyan. So AWS Config also has an enterprise-wide compliance monitoring. So AWS Config kasi works on regional scope. So, but if you want to further expand the scope of the AWS Config, you can do so by setting up a multi-account or multi-region data aggregation. And also, not only AWS resources, AWS Config also support third-party resources. So as of now, AWS Config can monitor configuration on GitHub repo, Microsoft Active Directory resources, and other on-premise servers into AWS. So yan, AWS Config, basically very simple siya i-set up, but as you can see, you can have all of these benefits using this very simple management service. So yan, para mas maintindihan natin yung use cases and how AWS Config works, it is better for us to break down all the components and concepts that AWS Config has. So I've listed here the components of the AWS Config, namely resources, AWS Config rules, trigger, remediation, aggregator, and conformance pack. Okay, so AWS Config resources. So when we say resources, ito yung we specify here yung AWS resources na gusto nating i-undergo into AWS Config. So kung ano man yung resources na i-define natin, yun yung monitor and may evaluate ni AWS Config. So for compute services, we have here EC2, Elastic Beanstalk, ECS, and Lambda. We also have here RDS for database service, and S3 and EBS for storage service. Ayan. And we also have IAM pala and web application firewall. This is not the only AWS services na kayang i-manage or i-monitor ni AWS Config. I just listed here an example of the most common used AWS services. Okay. So next. Okay, so AWS config rules. So this is actually one of the most common topic. This is the bread and butter of config rules, as you may say. So AWS managed rules, we have two kinds of config rules, AWS managed rules and custom rules. So AWS managed rules, these are predefined rules created by AWS for their customers. So this can be used out of the box, but this is also customizable and according to your needs. So for custom rules naman, these are user defined. So for custom Lambda rules, si user yung magde-define ng Lambda function which will be associated to the custom rule. And another custom rule is the guard custom policy. So guard, it is a policy as code language you can use with AWS Config. So dito, for the custom rules, ang mangyari, if you create a custom rule, you will associate either a custom Lambda function to your rules or a guard custom policy. So if you want to learn more about guard custom policy or guard language itself, you can check it on their GitHub repository. You can check that out. Okay. So yeah, later on our demo, we will be able to use these different kinds of AWS managed rules. So I have here cited different kinds of rules. So on the left side, these are the name of the rules, and on the right side, it's their description. So we have here desired instance type, which can check the instance type of an EC2 instance, and also IAM group, which checks if the IAM group has at least one IAM user. We also have a managed rules for S3 bucket logging, and so on and so forth. So these managed rules, as I've said earlier, these are pre-created by AWS. So kapag kikreate tayo ng rule using the AWS managed rule, meron dong drop down. It is actually a long list of AWS managed rule which you can use. Okay. So yeah. So once we have our resources defined and our rules defined as well, we will do the setup of the trigger. So yung trigger, ito yung dito natin i-configure kung kailan mangyayari yung evaluation. So for AWS managed rules, so grade itong trigger configuration, since by default configuration changes yung kanyang trigger. So if configuration changes is selected as trigger, every time there is a change on the configuration on the AWS resources, doon magkakaroon ng evaluation against the defined rules. So on the other hand, periodic evaluation is triggered at a defined frequency. Let's say, for example, every 24 hours. This is commonly used for custom rules naman. Okay. So yan, scope of changes. So this is where we choose when evaluations will occur according to all changes. So 'di ba may resources na tayo, meron na tayong rules, meron na tayong trigger. Let's say for example, trigger for every changes. So we will then define this scope of that changes. So if you want the evaluation to start on all changes for all the resource, or pwede nating i-specify din on a specific resources. And also we can also use tags. Tags pala, by the way, are key value pairs which are defined on any AWS resources. So for example, you might want to tag your resources according to their environment. So like for example, prod or development. So ganun siya. We can specify the scope of changes for that as well. So yan, moving on, remediation. So ito yung magiging response natin, action into non-compliance result. Okay, so once the AWS resources is evaluated kasi it will be tagged as non-compliant or compliant. So we can set a remediation, either automatic or manual remediation for that. So remediation action, ito yung mga procedure na gagawin natin against the non-compliant resources. So these procedures are executed through AWS Systems Manager automation. So later on, we will have a demo or lab for this. So yeah. Okay, so this is an example of remediation action. So if there is a non-compliant resources, we can configure remediation action to create Jira issue or publish an SNS notification through SNS service. And we can also do an action like AWS stop, restart, or start EC2 instance. And also another action that can be done is configure remediation enable EBS encryption. So these are just example. So maraming remediation action that are predefined by AWS. Okay. So yan, conformance pack. So conformance pack basically is a collection of AWS config and remediation actions. So this is a compilation of different kinds of rules predefined by AWS itself. So kung meron kayong masyado maraming AWS resources that you might want to be assessed against the best practices, it is better to use conformance pack for those resources. So example of that is the operational best practices for EC2, operational best practices for Amazon S3, and as well as meron din tayong conformance pack for well-architected security pillar. And again, these are all just examples. Marami pang ibang conformance pack that AWS Config offers. Okay. So yes, there is a caution on applying remediation action. So since you can configure remediation action per the non-compliant resources, lalo na kapag automatic remediation yung ginawa natin, we should first evaluate the impact of the actions, lalo na if we will be deploying the remediation actions on a production environment, because we can invoke actions like stop instances, right? This can cause downtime and potential loss of money to your client. So it's also a good practice to specify assignment group for AWS resources. An example of this is to have a specific group for resources for, let's say, for example, for production environment, and a separate group for the development environment. And most importantly, and I can't emphasize this enough, you should be able to test your configuration rules, triggers, and remediation actions first on you should be able to test it on a non-production environment before deploying it on a production environment. Okay. So next, concept is about AWS aggregator. So as I've said earlier, if yung environment nyo has a multiple accounts and has resources all throughout different regions, and you want to have a single view of all the configurations, you can do so by using aggregator. So how does it work? So AWS Config has this aggregator which you can use to gather all of the configuration changes on your on your environment on different multiple accounts and regions. So but first you need to enable first the AWS config on all of those accounts and region. So once configured and once the data are collected, you can see it on a single and centralized view. Okay. So yeah, enough about that. Let's move on to the to our demo lab. Okay, hands-on lab. Okay. Can you guys see my screen? Can someone confirm?
Yes.
Okay. So first, let's have a EC2 instances configured. I actually have here a terminated instance. Okay, so wag na lang natin siya pansinin. Let's create a new one. Okay. So, ayan. So let's name our server demo1. So by the way, we will be creating an AWS config rules for this AWS EC2 instances. So what we are doing now is just creating a EC2 instances that will be subject for evaluation later on. Okay. So let's name it demo1 and architecture and OS, let's leave it by default. So instance type, let's select T2 micro. And key pair, let's have selected this key pair. Network settings, okay. Network volumes. Okay, I think it's already good. Okay, let's have this created. So yan, as you can see, we'll just take a little time. So yan, we have here the instance that we just created. It's now on pending state. Let's just wait for a couple of seconds for this to be launched. Okay, while we are waiting, let's also create another AWS resource, which is AWS Elastic IP. So I already have one here, but let's create another one. So let's just click this allocate IP address and leave everything as default and click allocate. So yeah, we have here 3.0.211.217. So let's check again our EC2 instances. Okay, it's on initializing state now. Okay, while we are waiting, I guess we should start creating our rules na. Okay. So once, okay, close ko pala muna to. hold on. So if you're not familiar pala with the AWS EC2 AWS console, you can create a free account through the AWS free. You can create AWS account for free. So let's just search for AWS config and let's start creating our rules. This one. Okay. Okay. So now, when you access the AWS config, makita natin dito yung dashboard, which we can see the resource inventory that we have for the entire region. So as you can see, I already have some AWS resources here. So in order to create rules, we can go to the left panel of the AWS console. Click rules here. So yan. By default, wala tayong any kind of rule that is set up. So let me just open another tab here. Yeah. So yeah, let's create a rule. So we want a rule that can check the specified instance type for all the instances that we have. So dito, ito yung kanino nating diniscuss, AWS manage rules, or we can create custom Lambda rule and custom rule using guard. So for this demo, we will be using AWS manage rule. So yeah, as you can see, we have a lot of AWS config manage rules. So let's just search for the manage rule. So this is what we want. EC2 desired instance type. Ayan. So you can also check here the description. It checks whether your EC2 instances are of the specified instance type. So you just click next. You can also name the rule. And ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na for AWS manage config, it is grayed out because by default, the evaluation will trigger once every time there is a configuration change. So this is the scope changes. So if you want to have the evaluation on a specific resource, we can do so by clicking resources, or we can also select all changes. And of course, yung kanina, we can use the tag. So kung ano yung define natin na tags, yun lang yung sa subject natin for AWS config. So but for now, let's stick for the default, which is the AWS EC2 instance. Okay. So now we will now define the parameter for the rule. So ano ba yung desired EC2 instance type natin? So for me, I want my instances to be on the T2 micro lang. Yan. Then we just click next, and then now we will review our configuration, and everything looks good. So Let's add the rule. Okay. Ayan. Now, for the meantime, let's also check the instances that we created. Ayan. So now you can see it's already on running state and also passed 2/2 checks. So I think it's good to go. So let's go back for on the dashboard. So by the way, AWS config rule pala will take some time, like seconds or even a minute before the evaluation trigger. Okay, let's just wait for it to trigger. And before while we wait pala, let's create another rule pa. So now let's create a rule for Elastic IP. So yan. We have a rule here that checks whether all Elastic IP address allocated to a VPC are attached to an EC2 instance or in use in ENI. So like dun sa ginawa natin kanina, we also define the scope changes. So for now, I want all changes to be the scope of this rule and leave everything as default and click next. Okay. So you can see here the status once the evaluation is done. Dito sa AWS Compliance tab. And also, you can see here the remediation action is not set by default, but we can do so by clicking the specified, clicking the manage rule, then manage remediation. So we discussed earlier the automatic remediation and manual remediation. So for now, let's have the remediation set to manual. Then here are the list of remediation action that we can do. So as you can see, as we discussed earlier, meron ditong actions to stop yung EC2 instance, start, or even reboot, restart. So yeah, marami ditong remediation actions included. Okay, so for now, let's have EC2 stop EC2 instance for our remediation actions. So it was set manually. Okay, let's leave everything by default and save changes. Okay, one or more specified parameters are invalid. Hold on. Okay. We also need to define the resource ID parameter. So for now, let's use the instance ID. Okay, click again, save changes, and let's go back to our rules. So yan, the Elastic IP rule already have a findings. So it finds an non-compliant EC2 Elastic IP. So we can check this by clicking this, and if meron tayong na define na remediation action, we can also apply that. So yeah, let's check the Elastic IP. 005. So this one is a non-compliant IP address. So ganun siya. The Elastic IP rules detected that one of our Elastic IP is non-compliant. So let's wait for the other config rule. Okay. Meron tayong error dito. Currently experiencing unusual high traffic. So that should be fine. Let's wait. It's already 2. Okay, you can also, we can also trigger re-evaluation of your EC2 instance. Or you can also edit the your rules. So let's just edit here and change the scope changes. Click change. Okay, ayun, nag-apply na pala siya. So let's review again our desired instance type rules. So dito sa rule na to, the AWS config will evaluate the resources if the instance type is on T2 micro. So let's go back to our EC2 instances. As you can see, we've launched an EC2 instance which is on T2 micro. So what will happen naman if we launch an EC2 instances that are not T2 micro? So let's check it out. So again, let's name our EC2 instance. For now, let's name it as demo2. Leave everything as default except this instance type. So let's for this demo, let's have the instance type set to T2 Nano. So we should be able to get a non-compliant report from the AWS config since we launched this AWS EC2 instance on T2 Nano instance type. Okay. Okay. So while we are waiting for the EC2 instance to come up, let's check our Elastic IP addresses which are currently non-compliant. Here. Ayan. So these are our non-compliant IP addresses since we didn't associate it with AWS EC2. Okay, so let's try to associate one of these Elastic IP to one of our EC2 instances. Okay, let's attach it on the demo one, which is the instance we created first. Okay, click associate. Let's check the status. So now it already has an associated instance with it. 131.122. Let's check our demo one instance. So eto siya, Elastic IP address. So we successfully associate our Elastic IP on our demo one instance. So let's wait for the Elastic IP to be re-evaluated. Okay. Click re-evaluate. And by the way, if you click the rule, you can have the resources categorized by non-compliant and compliant. Ayan. So it just takes time for the AWS config to run the configuration. So let's check our EC2 instance. Still on initializing phase. Okay, while we wait pala, let's have discussed the other components of AWS Config. So, andito yung aggregator natin, which is used to gather all the configuration across different multiple accounts and region. And also, meron din tayong rules, resources, and conformance packs under the aggregator. So it's a separate AWS config entity. So conformance pack naman, let's take a look at it. So this is what we discussed earlier. These are sets of multiple AWS config rules configured by AWS. As you can see, there are also a lot of AWS config conformance pack here, which you can use. But you can also have the option to upload your own template. So right here, it can be used. You can upload it through here or through AWS S3 packet. Okay. So let's check our dashboard. So meron din tayo ditong part where we can have the summary of the compliance status. So now we have the two non-compliant rule, which is the elastic IP and the instance type, and also the non-compliant status for the resources. So for now, we have two compliant. You can check that out. Okay, there's an error. Okay, let me try again. Okay, AWS config is currently experiencing unusual traffic. So maybe we can try it out later. So yan, remember what we did earlier? We associated one of the elastic IP. So now we only have a single elastic IP that is non-compliant. So as we can see here, we can check our compliant elastic IP. So this elastic IP is the IP we associated with our demo one instance here. Okay. You can also view all the compliant and non-compliant. So here is a summary of that. So the non-compliant one is the newly created elastic IP, and this is the one associated with the in situ instance. Okay. So for the desired instance type, we have a non-compliant resources. Okay, here. So see demo 2. So let's check if that's the same instance. Hold on. Change the resource scope. Okay. So we can check the compliant EC2 instance ID is ending on FF54. Let's check that out. It's the demo 1. And the demo 2 has an instance ID ending in 827. So 827. So we can see now that as per AWS config evaluation, the evaluation is correct and is reliable. So remember the remediation that we do. We can also trigger it. using, we can also trigger that manually. Manage remediation. Okay. So we have configured AWS Stack EC2 instance. Ayan. So let's try attaching the other EC Elastic IP. Associate it to the to our demo tool. So as you can see, medyo may delay lang when applying and evaluating the AWS configuration through the config. But this is useful since you won't be able to do it manually na. This is an automated way of monitoring the AWS configuration that your AWS resources have. So since we won't have enough time, it's already 6:55 na. Sorry for taking much time. Let's go back to our slide. So yeah, let's have a recap on what we did. So we define what compliance is and its potential impact. We also discuss how AWS Config helps on implementing compliance in AWS environment. And we also did a demo on how to use AWS Config. So to which we have deployed managed rules for Elastic IP and instance type configuration. So, okay. So if you want to learn more, which I encourage you guys to, you can also check AWS Skill Builder, AWS Workshop, Tutorials Dojo, and you are free to join, guys. I encourage you to join the AWS User Group Philippines. And if you are starting to learn AWS, merong free courses with Tutorials Dojo that can help you jump your career or learn AWS. Okay. So yeah, this has been Lervin. So I am now open on your question.
Ayan. Thank you so much, Lervin. It was very interesting. And I think, no, marami silang natutunan. Who wants a part 2, guys? I think we are running out of time. We don't have enough time. And for sure, Sir Lervin have a lot to tell, to share to us. So if you want a part 2 on this, you can type 1 on the chat box so that we'll know if you want to learn more from Lervin. Ayan. Ayan,
Right.
111. They want a part 2 on this topic. So we'll take note of this, Lervin.
Yes,
and
yes.
hopefully we can invite you again for the part 2 on this topic. There you go. We are flooding 1 on the chat group in the chat box.
Yeah, and if you guys have questions, feel free to message me on LinkedIn.
Yes, speaking of that, how can they reach you, Lervin?
Yeah, you can.
Social media accounts, Facebook.
Yeah, I'm actually active on LinkedIn. You can check me on LinkedIn. You can use this link, LJ Obando at LinkedIn.
Ayan.
So feel free to message me.
LinkedIn account.
Yeah.
Okay, you can reach Lervin on LinkedIn account.
Right.
There you go. And also, Maki Antonio is asking if you can share with them your slides.
Yes,
offline?
sure. Maybe
right,
I can
okay.
just share with you, Miss Rose, then you will be the one to give them.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lervin. All right, guys. Please, you really have to follow our Facebook page so that you'll know if there is a part 2 on this topic. And we will announce that very soon. Thank you so much, Lervin. I hope you can stay for a while for the photo op. But before that, of course, we have a lot of events coming up, and not just the Community Ignite series. So this Saturday, we'll have a dynamic pitch event co-presented by AWS Club Filipinas. It will be about data analytics for developer programmer track with Sir Rafael Kisambing, our very own AWS community hero, and Edukasyon.ph young CTO. On the same day, on Saturday, it will be about a journey to cloud architect with Sir Paul Sears. Wow, we are fully loaded on Saturday. I hope you guys can join at 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. this coming Saturday. So get ready to teach, to take it to the next level. If you want to register for the event, go to this link pasted by Thea at go.edukasyon.ph/DT Data Analytics Reg. There you go. Take note of that, copy paste on your notes. And also, the applications for AWS Restart are still open. Okay, AWS Restart is another training opportunity provided by AWS and Edukasyon.ph. It is a free 12-week full-time skills development program that prepares unemployed or underemployed individuals for entry-level careers in the cloud. Okay, if you're an IT, this is not for you. This is for individuals who have no IT background and wants to start a career in IT. Okay, so if you have friends who are not in IT and they want to learn IT skills, please share the AWS Restart program to them, and we will be selecting 320 scholars for the second batch. Okay, so thank you for that. And another program by AWS and Edukasyon.ph is the AWS Associate Solutions Architect Batch 1. Our registration is extended until April 26, 2022. So that is on Tuesday. So everyone who registered for it, we cannot wait to see you. Just wait for an update from us. But for those who missed the previous registration, don't you worry. It is still extended until this Tuesday. So go ahead and register at www.edukasyon.ph/AWS Educate. So this one naman is for IT educators and IT students. Count me in, Ms. Rose. Want to update my skills? Yes, of course, Maki. You have to go to this link. Wait, I'm copy pasting it now. For everyone who missed that. Okay? Oops, should be for everyone. Should be for everyone. Go and visit edukasyon.ph/AWS Educate. There you go. Wow, ang dami. Okay, so here's a question for you. Are you interested in earning as you level up as a developer through quests and tasks? Do you want to earn the DAO to level up? Angel Hack, because Angel Hack is proud to share that we will be partnering with StackUp to bring you an exclusive peek at their latest Learn and Earn platform. O, diba, san ka pa? You can learn and then you will earn. So in this program, you can earn more than $500 as you tackle learning quests and follow guided bite-sized learning pathways. You can learn all about Ethereum, Rust, and Python. Now, here's to get started. Okay, listen very carefully, okay? First, you will have to join StackUp Early Access Discord server. Okay, can someone paste the link, Danica? And then, okay, you have to go to stackup.dev. Okay, copy pasting it here on our chat box because you have to go there. Then you have to click sign up and enter this early access code. Let me send it in the chat. Wait, okay, I think I should send you this step by step, and don't forget to copy paste on your notes because that will be flooded later on. Okay, then you can now browse, complete quests, and earn rewards. So join StackUp as a player now and start earning as you learn. So there you go, earn as you learn with StackUp. Okay, kita nyo guys, ang dami, no? We have partnered with a lot of tech communities and organized events just for you. we have been conducting a lot of events on behalf of AWS Cloud Pilipinas and Edukasyon.ph. So thank you to our lovely igniters like you for attending each one of them and for being so active. At ito na nga, here are more of our events for the last week of April. There you go, ang dami. April 28, we have the Community Ignite Series 37th episode, a day in the life of an AWS prototyping architect. So there you go. Kung sino yung gusto maging AWS Solutions Architect, this is your time to learn. And on April 29th, it's a recruit day, Introduction to Data Science and AWS. On April 30th, wow, sunod-sunod, grabe na to. Angular PH, Introduction to the Cloud. O, di ba? Ang dami. Wala na kayong dito kawala. You can really learn a lot about AWS. Aside from our long haul AWS training bootcamp and AWS Restart and Educate. Ayan, so you may stay updated with our upcoming events by following us again on AWS Cloud Pilipinas Facebook page, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Instagram. Now, we would like to announce the top attendee for the month of April. Oh, it's still ongoing. There is still a lot of time to win AWS credits. So, sino nga ba ang magiging top attendee natin and will get AWS credits for the month of April? And all you have to do is to post your CIS certificate per episode. Wow, every episode talaga ito ha for the month. And post it on either Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, and tag us at Edukasyon.ph and AWS Cloud Pilipinas. And you can also use the hashtags Edukasyon and hashtag AWS Cloud Pilipinas. Okay? So this is your chance to get AWS credits and other surprising rewards to be a top CIS attendee for April. Grabe. I have learned a lot from this 1 hour tech-driven webinar. No, kahit hindi ako techie, but I've learned more about AWS, and I hope you guys learned a lot too. So hope you enjoyed it. And again, there's a lot of people who are asking if there is a certificate for this. Yes, of course. All our webinars comes with e-certificate, but of course we have conditions this time. No, aside from filling up the form for e-certificate, we will verify if you really attended the webinar. So we will check your attendance in Zoom and validate it on your information that you provided on the CSAT form. And make sure that you have filled up your correct email address and full name so that it will not be misspelled, no? Because some of you are sending us emails that your name is not the correct one. So be careful with writing your email and your full name, because we will just copy paste that on your e-certificate. And of course, we will just please give us 5 to 7 business days to make sure now we can validate and give you the correct information for your e-cert. Okay? So we understand that you are really excited to get your certificates, but of course, our personnel also, our staff, our team are also need some time to process your e-certificates. All right, so that wraps up the 36th episode of the Community Ignite series, the Implementing Compliance through AWS Config. We would love to hear your experience. So please answer our feedback form and go to wait lang, let me paste this. Go to go.edukasyon.ph/CIS36quest for your feedback and for you to get your e-cert. Okay, once again, we would like to thank our speaker, Lervin, and also our co-presenters, AWS Cloud or Amazon Web Services and AWS Cloud Pilipinas. Lastly, I would like to thank our technical director, Ms. Danica Ejercito. Thank you, Dan. She is also a content creator on YouTube. And of course, our AWS and Edukasyon.ph interns, Thea and Pat. Thank you, ladies, for all the support and help. And I am Rose, your AWS Club Filipinas host for tonight. And one more thing. Let's do a photo op, of course, to close our program. If you want to be part of our photo documentation, feel free to open your camera. And I would like to ask Danica to take a photo. Oh, wait, let me just put on gallery mode. Okay, let's wait for everyone to open their camera and video on. Ayan, so that we can see your faces. Keep smiling because we have 6 pages. Okay? 1, 2, 3, smile. Next page. Smile, 1, 2, 3, smile. Ayan, third. Smile. Fourth. Dami natin, like we have 149 people in the room. Fifth. Smile. And the last page. You'll never know which page you'll be in, so keep smiling. Smile, 1, 2, 3, smile. All right, thank you, everyone. That ends our Community Ignite series, 36th edition, and wishing you all a very good evening and enjoy your dinner. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Are you working on projects or making decisions that require understanding cloud fundamentals and benefits? The AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner certification validates foundational cloud knowledge, including how the cloud impacts your business, core AWS services and use cases, billing and pricing models, and security concepts. Demonstrate your cloud fluency by achieving an industry-recognized credential from AWS. Highlight your proficiency and be a part of your organization